Hello and welcome to another StarCraft 2 co-op video. Today we'll be looking at another post from a Chinese forum about the upcoming mutation. If someone has a video for reference, please recommend it. I have already updated the lava damage mechanics on Huiji Wiki. This week's mutation is quite difficult. It occupies a seat in one of my top 10 most difficult mutations, and I am among the few that hate VP more than COD. In this era with the later OP commanders, Void Rifts is a mutator that rarely makes people kneel on its own. Secondly, on VP, Rifts can spawn directly on the lava. Not only are the attack wave timings on VP random, the lava rising and receding is also random. On top of that, Fear might take up a lot of the unit's time. In general, it's hard to attack Rifts directly. As a result, players have to prepare defenses to deal with trickles and may have to split off units to protect workers when picking up crystals. In this mutation, the problem of the double-edged natural becomes even clearer. The expo on VP is one of the harder ones to get. At the same time, the entrances are rather wide, especially the right natural's safety entrance, which is just one step away from the workers' area. Very easy for trickles to disrupt them. On top of that, since you can't always jump on top of rifts as mentioned earlier, you often have no choice but to wait for the rift wave to spawn. If you expand too late, you can't make back your investment, so you're better off not expanding at all. If you take it, you will get harassed from all sides, resulting in them forcing errors from you. If you can't reliably defend, you can choose to forego the expo. To put it another way, if you can comfortably defend the natural, you can easily make the trickles go there instead of the main, preventing your crystal workers from getting attacked. This is better suited for Karax, Cannon Toll, and Dehaka. In a duel, you should discuss in advance and let the main attacker take the left expo. The other person should either be a strong defender and heavily fortify the expo or just go one base. After defending the main, use any extra firepower to make some units or static defenses to help defend your allies' expo on the left side. Another thing is that Amon has vision hacks on VP. He knows where all your buildings are even without vision. So if you use Kerrigan's Omega Worms, Sirius turrets, Nova's defensive drone, etc., all of those things will disrupt the path the trickles take, resulting in workers getting attacked and dropping their crystals on the ground. The trickles from the rifts attack the closest structure from the rift they spawn from. If the 220 rifts spawn in the encampment on either side of the main, consider pressing F10Q. Recommended commanders. No matter which commander you choose, you'll need a certain level of skill and understanding, so good luck, have fun. Lone Wolf. I recommend making turrets against rifts, so 15th worker makes gas, 16th makes eBay and then a turret, 17th, 18th mine the first gas, 19th makes turret, 20th makes gas 2, 21 makes gunslinger's hideout. Prioritize armor upgrades in the eBay. After upgrading armor, the higher your HP, the less likely you are to get feared. Most of the time, Sirius and Tychus will push into encampments to take out nearby rifts. Sam will focus on rifts. Vega defends against trickles and nearby rifts. Nux deals with attack waves and crystal enemies. Because Lone Wolf has high damage reduction and Sam has super cloak, you can rush into the lava and throw a grenade onto a rift. So this is Lone Wolf Sam. If you can't take the left expo and your ally can't help you defend, you should consider one-basing it to the end rather than frequently splitting your attention to defend the right natural. Karax P3. For the first set of rifts, send 2 probes out and pray for good luck. Afterwards, get energy upgrades and a robo. Keep making observers from the robo and spread them out everywhere so you can deal with rifts as soon as they pop out. You need to be very familiar with the map layout in order to spread ops easily. Zerg is the easiest because there is little detection in each base. Workers will easily get feared, so put cannons at the entrances to the main and natural if you expand. Whether or not you expand depends on your build order. I don't get the expo mostly to stuff the entrances and control the flow of units. In a duel, having a stat P2 ally will produce miraculous effects. Reference video here. Han Horner, P1, in this mutation, they can reliably control rifts with strike fighters like they usually do, so they're the only commander that doesn't really need much practice nor skill to control the rifts. They're good for teaming up with a strong head-on commander since Han units have low HP and thus will cover their heads and sneak away like frightened rats when they encounter AoE. Air units have a bit more HP but are a bit lacking in DPS, so they can't quickly end the fight. Either way, going on offense when there's fear is a bit awkward. You can defend against attack waves with mag mines or top bars. As such, in duels, you'll most likely make units specifically to defend alongside mag mines and crystal workers. Leave the pushing to your ally. Tech up ASAP to get strike fighters and napalm. If you're focusing on defense, it doesn't really matter whether you expo or not. When there isn't any lava, 2 strike fighters plus a set of mag mines will insta-kill a rift. However, in the late game, when there are more rifts, you kinda have to rely on the napalm to deal with rifts in the lava. When picking up crystals, if you encounter enemies with a lot of AoE like Masters and Machines or Vanguard of Ire, you should utilize your Ravens plus Strike Fighters to take out the AoE units first. Other commanders, Zeratul, P2 or P3. One thing that makes Omega ships better than Omega Worms is that the ships don't draw the aggro of the trickles and attack waves. Overall, similar to Karax, spread observers and Omega ships, then cannons and monoliths, defend the base and key chokes. Wait for the lava to recede and then project cannons and target fire the rifts. Invital himself pushes with the Legion. If you use cannons to take out crystal enemies, don't forget that the enemies from the closest rift will head towards those cannon projections, so be careful of the path of the trickles. Seasoned players can bring Omega ships with workers close to the crystals, then wait for the lava warning, then yoink the crystals after the enemies leave. For P2, you can trap the artifact. Another thing, for Abathur, when the game starts, press Alt-T. If you don't see creep, you can Toxic Nest lure at the entrance to the encampment to the right of the right main. If it's Protoss, you'll get hit by cannons. If you encounter Protoss, there's no way to get a Brutalist by the first set of rifts. You have to rely on Toxic Nests and Spines to slowly fight. And when the lava rises, Brutalists can't go over. Overall, the feeling of playing him is quite different from other rift mutations. For details, watch other people's reps. Alarak and Nova. Their heroes' max HP is relatively low, so they'll get feared quite easily. Nova can drop a defensive drone and transform into shotgun mode to get shields for a bit and dodge. Alarak can only wash his face a bit more. The week after is Wheel of Misfortune on Void Launch. This one's unrelated, so skip that. It's time for Cannontoll again. I have to try Cannontoll next week. It feels like a luck-based mutation. I definitely can't solo this. My hands already shake when soloing VP on regular Bruto. In a duel, as long as the early game is stable, most of the later OP commanders will beat it easily. In the era of prestiges, the power that some commanders have to breeze through the mutation is too strong. Fear is not really a strong head-on mutator, so it's just a single mutator, Rifts. One of the things I hate about this mutation is that touching the lava also triggers fear, so the hard part is figuring out how to deal with rifts in the lava. In a duel, Lone Wolf plus Abathur won't face any pressure, right? Same old strategy, Tychus deals with rifts and farms biomass in the early game, clear rifts as soon as they pop up, Sirius or Sam second, they each have their advantages when there is lava. Sirius can throw turrets on the cliffs to hit the rifts in the lava from the high ground. Sam can turn on Super Cloak, go into the lava, throw a grenade onto a rift. Other heroes just stand their ground. In the early game, it's best to have someone at the expo, one in the main or the area where the attack wave spawns. If the rifts are too far out, you can defend the expo for a bit. Wait for Abathur's army to take shape, then leave the rifts to Abathur. Then you just deal with the encampments and attack waves. For Tychus, it will become a one-mutator mutation, Fear. At least among the 3rd, 4th, and 5th outlaws, one of them should defend the base, so he doesn't really care about trickles. 4 Hakas, which I don't know why, defend the base and attack waves. Pack leaders for emergencies, creeper hosts clear the whole map. A reminder about expanding and another about defending the expo. If possible, leave the top expo to the player who isn't as proficient. It's vastly different from the bottom base. Last time around, I used Zagara. Took the expo, defended against all the trickles, felt great. Was busy all game, but I remember it vividly. For Zagara, you can consider bio launchers to defend against the air units and Reapers, very important, that don't take the ground path. Also, move the Baneling nest to the Expo to make it easier to take out units from the lava. So the trickles. VP is one of the few maps where Karax can push very quickly. The mechanisms also allow this. He's very strong for pushing this week. In my opinion, if you can take care of rifts yourself but your ally's too weak, it's better to have your ally serve as a tank in the natural, so take some damage for you. Unless your commander doesn't need any micro to defend the natural, that is. I think it's a bit difficult for Brutalists to deal with rifts when there are many enemies shooting. You'll need at least 2 Brutas to take out rifts in enemy fire. Rifts that spawn in empty areas are all in the lava areas. If you're gonna let Tychus just deal with fear, I think Han Horner is better at dealing with rifts. I strongly recommend having Karax. He can instantly warp in towers and defend an area. He is unmatched in this regard. Raynor. It's gonna be like this because his stats are lacking. P0, P2, P3, Viking, Banshee tank, missile turret party. Don't choose P1, you need a lot of Marines in the early game. I don't think you should make any Marines, or except for like ones in bunkers. Kerrigan, since Amon can see your Omega Worms anyway, might as well place them everywhere. See where your rifts can run to, Amon. Artanis, if you need to take out rifts, don't choose P3. Swan, I recommend P1 drill. Quick locking AoE can effectively protect SCVs that are building towers. Zagara, mix in a few aberrations to protect the Banes, then Frenzy F2A. I'm not saying you can't use bio launchers, but using them to deal with trickles is like a cannon hitting a mosquito, so it's better to leave the defense to a proper tower commander. You can just make spines and spores, those exist, you know. Karax, choose P3, make towers everywhere, smash rifts, win. Team up with a P1 Swan that also makes towers everywhere, and then you can play it as a regular Brutal. Nova, there's nothing a pair of Liberators and an airstrike can't defeat. If there is, then make another pair of Liberators. If you have the ability, choose P3 and cover multiple fronts. Abathur, the faster you make Brutas, the better, nothing else. After all, Brutas and Rift mutations are always on the road to take out Rifts. Vorazun, use time stop whenever it's ready. 20 seconds is enough to let the sea of Shadow Guards chop down Amon's entire family, or his whole house, whatever you want to say. Han Horner. Strike fighters take out Rifts, Reapers, Hellions, Wraiths, species F2A. Don't do that. Han Horner isn't really afraid of anything except High Templars. It's like that for Flying Reapers. Stukov, P1, Diamondbacks, put a few bunkers at home and that's it. After all, you're going to leave the defense to Karax. This is a terrible way to play. You should use P1 Banshees. Don't do P1 Diamondbacks. Banshees to at least control some of the rifts. You can't guarantee your ally is Karax. And if you're going to be Karax, if your ally is Karax, then you can do this. Alarak, Fear will also subdue Ascendant's orbs. Remember to bring a few Wrathwalkers to take out rifts. Tychus, delete everything, nothing to fear in this mutation. You're talking about fear to Heaven's Devils? Amon, you're kidding, right? Dehaka, Creeper hosts and 3-pack leaders tyrannically abuse their power. Okay. Phoenix, another mutation where he watches. Rock Slapper, your timeout only works once. Not if he gets chain stunned. Okay, Mex, Viridia is also Tyrant's territory. Step 1, make bunkers at home. Step 2, make bunkers at the natural. Step 3, make ESOs at the natural. Step 4, flatten the whole map. Stepman, Statolites are, and Super Gary stats are, and mechanisms are too good. You can choose P1 and F2A while speeding around, or choose P2 and delete attack waves and crystal enemies with 1 Igor. Zeratol, Swan and Kerrigan taught me how to make Omega ships, to transport workers. Choose P2, then make a bunch of +10 attack cannons and warp them in Amon's mouth. But does Amon have a mouth? This is simplifying the mutation too much. There's a lot more work than just waiting until you have 10 + 10. So, I don't know. This guy usually gives decent advice, but I don't know about this week's. On this map, it's really easy for Han Horner to clear rifts. Everyone else is disrupted by the lava. Yes, that judgment is also reasonable. My understanding is if my ally isn't very good, I will do my best to protect him so he can mass up. Once he's good to go, we will switch between offense and defense. So he will now go on defense, and then I can go on offense. From this perspective, I will proactively make the expansion and defend it together. If he can't, I will take on the pressure. After all, we can't reverse the roles and have him protect me, right? That may result in making a lot of defenses at the natural only for them to get flattened, wasting a lot of effort. I don't even play this map in Brutal, and you want me to play a mutation here? Not even dogs played on this map. It's not that bad, right? You don't need to worry about your ally committing a crime, which, guessing it's backstabbing? Not sure about that. And that's it for this post. What advice do you have for this mutation? Comment it down below, and I'll see you next time.